We kick things off with a massive battle between humans and monsters, with chaos and destruction everywhere. The humans try their best to take down the monsters, but there are just way too many of them to deal with. An injured girl is on the ground completely helpless, and she happens to be a hero who has failed. A demonic man shows up with his blade and it looks like he is going to attack the girl, but it's at this very moment that our hero shows up in the nick of time to attack the demon man. The girl is shocked to see him because he's not a knight, but rather a boy named Rizz who is only a blacksmith. He figures that the demon man is the leader of the monsters, so he needs to take him down instantly. The girl asks Rizz what he's doing here, but he simply smiles at her and says that he did promise to take her job soon enough. He seems to have been training a whole year for this kind of situation, and then he challenges the demon man to a fight. Rizz tells the girl, whose name is revealed to be Lynn, to fight while she still can. And then he turns to his opponent and says that he will show him the true power of a blacksmith. Rizz lifts his hammer as if he is the god of thunder, and then he proceeds with his attack. However, before we can see him in action, we need context, so it's time for a long flashback. Here, we see our hero being woken up by someone, and it turns out to be Lynn herself. She looks at Rizz with flirty eyes and tells him that it is his coming-of-age ceremony. Rizz panics upon seeing Lynn in his bedroom, so he asks her what she's doing here. Anyway, it's time for him to introduce himself to us, so he starts by saying this is the country of Waltos, where there is a festival known as the coming-of-age ceremony. Anyone who has turned 15 will need to attend it, and that's why Rizz is doing the same right now. As he comes downstairs, he meets Lynn's mom and dad, both of whom ask him if their daughter let him sleep well last night. Lynn feels a bit shy after hearing such questions, so she only says that she was just checking up on her childhood friend. Either way, we learn that these people are pretty much like family to our hero. They run an inn known as Wataritori and have adopted Rizz because his parents had passed away due to their occupation as adventurers. Now, Rizz gets ready for work and asks Lynn's dad what he needs to do. But there doesn't seem to be much to worry about as the crowd has just calmed down a bit. There was a huge rush earlier, but now it's only down to 3 meals, so our hero can rest easy. Lynn's dad now reminds him that it's his coming-of-age ceremony, so he should show him some kind of excitement. Of course, Rizz doesn't know if something special will happen if he is enthusiastic, so he asks if he will get some kind of special weapon or job if he is more animated. Now, we learn that sacred weapons are those that are given to humans by the gods of their lands. Jobs, on the other hand, vary, such as swordsman, knight, wizard, or even a hero. People of this world are given a sacred weapon and a suitable job, after which they get to decide how they want to live their lives with them. Of course, if you can get a powerful sacred weapon and respected job, then money and fame will follow you everywhere you go. This is why the people of Waltos find this ceremony to be the most important day of their lives. Now, Lynn's mom tells Rizz that she will leave Lynn in his care as they go out to church. Lynn is not too pleased with this decision, but Rizz seems to like this instruction. Now, we take a look at the town where our hero is living in, and it looks quite nice with decent people and entertainment all over. As they walk through the streets, Lynn comments that everyone is looking quite happy right now. However, Rizz says that it's probably because a lot of kids are now going to turn into adults and start living their lives. Since the actual adults can finally stop worrying about these kids, they can enjoy their own lives now. But Lynn does not like how Rizz makes this sound so cold and heartless. Now, her eyes catch a glimpse of a nice pendant, so she rushes towards it. The seller tells her she has good eyes, and he mentions that the pendant is actually from the West Capital area. The trader tells Rizz that he'll be willing to sell it for 4,000 coins if he wants to get it for his girlfriend. Of course, this makes Lynn blush, and she teases our hero over what the trader just said. Rizz is not the kind of boy who gets flustered easily, so he simply says that he and Lynn are not a couple, and then he carries on. Now, Lynn holds on to our hero and tells him that they should go to the night festival with each other. Our hero is not too keen on this and says that he will not be going there at all since he does not know how to dance. Lynn tells Rizz that he should be able to dance now that he is a proper adult, but before they can continue with their chat, he bumps into what looks like a warrior in helmet. Rizz says sorry, and the warrior tells him to be careful with a scary look on his face. As he walks away, Rizz takes a look at the sacred weapon the warrior is carrying and states that it looks pretty cool. Lynn asks if the man could be an adventurer, and Rizz believes that's a good guess. Now, Lynn asks our hero what kind of sacred weapon he would like to get, and he says he simply wants something that would make him look like an adventurer as well. As he says this, Rizz also realizes that he needs to pay back Lynn's family for adopting and taking care of him for all these years. He states that he'll take any job as long as it doesn't bother them. After all, he needs to repay them for their kindness, even though he had initially wanted to become an adventurer just like his parents. He tells Lynn that he wants to be someone who can help with the inn, and then he asks her what she feels about it. Lynn says that even she would like to be that way as she doesn't really know how to fight. That's when Rizz remembers how Lynn was with him while they were growing up, which was rather hilarious. This makes for a sweet moment between them, but then Lynn asks our hero what he's going to do if he is actually chosen to be a real hero. He simply says that it would be impossible for him to get such an honorable job. But Lynn says that there's always a chance for such things to happen. She says that he will be able to live in comfort for the rest of his life. But Rizz doesn't say anything as they both reach the Carlos church after a very long walk. We can see that there are a lot of people here for the coming-of-age ceremony, and a knight can be seen getting blessed with the fire blade as a sacred weapon. Seeing all of this makes Rizz nervous, so Lynn calms him down by saying he will surely become an adventurer. Now, the nun girl calls upon our hero to go to the sacred stone and get his evaluation done. We can see that it is a huge block of stone which is activated only once every year for the coming-of-age ceremony. If one were to pray to the stone, then they would be blessed with a sacred weapon and a job. There are only 3 people left now, so Lynn asks Rizz who should go first. Our hero is very excited, so he says that he would like to give the stone a try. Lynn mocks the look on his face, but he tells her to stop making fun of him. As he walks up to the sacred stone, Rizz becomes really nervous as he feels there is no way on earth that he will get the hero profession. Even so, his excitement is through the roof as he approaches the stone, so he decides to get done with it. He prays to the stone and asks for a good secret weapon, after which he also makes a few specific requests because he's not too good with swords or other spiky things. After some time, he notices a sacred weapon forming in front of him, and it happens to be a hammer. The nun girl starts laughing as our hero's job is chosen to be that of a blacksmith. Basically, this is a job that nobody from this world would ever want to have. It's so bad that while other weapons are called sacred, it's only the ones owned by a blacksmith that are called normal. The sacred weapons are so strong that they can't even be damaged as each of them have their own unique powers and skills. However, a blacksmith's weapon is only limited to the task of producing, and this is why such items are considered to be lower than sacred weapons. Keeping all of this in mind, Rizz realizes that he can only use his hammer to make other weapons, but in itself, he can't use it for anything good. Basically, our hero has been given a worthless weapon and he can be called useless. He drops to the floor in embarrassment. So Lynn tries to cheer him up by saying there's nothing wrong with living a normal life. As the next person comes forward, our hero laments that fact that he won't be able to do anything special with his life. Basically, he won't be able to live a better life than the one he has now, and that's a bad thing, considering he wanted to pay back the ones who allowed him to live such a good life. As he ponders upon what he will do now, he notices that the other people are shocked by something. The news must be spread about Lynn, because she has just pulled out the sacred weapon Excalibur, which means that she has been given the job of hero. Lynn is unable to believe her own eyes while Rizz watches in the background. Now, the nun girl asks Lynn to wait for a bit, because she needs to go fetch someone from the church. Lynn and Rizz are by themselves now, so our hero asks her how she is feeling. Lynn is still unable to believe that she has been chosen to be a hero, because she does not see herself fitting into the role. Rizz tells us that there have been quite a few heroes that Waltos has produced, and all of them have been known to leave a lasting impact with their achievements on the battlefield. However, in Lynn's case, she is just a little girl who does not want to fight at all. It doesn't matter if being a hero is an honorable job, because none of that will matter to a girl who is against the very idea of fighting. Lynn even says that she would gladly exchange this job with someone else if it was possible. So Rizz decides to calm down for now. This is when a holy man shows up and says that he is the bishop who manages the church. He then asks Lynn if she is the hero who is to receive the favor of God, and she confirms it. The bishop is unable to believe that he is in the presence of a hero while he is managing the church, so he decides to go out and inform everyone about it. Lynn is unable to say anything, so Rizz asks the bishop to wait for a moment. He tells him that Lynn is not someone who likes to fight, so he asks if it would be necessary for her to do such things. The bishop simply says that if the hero profession has been handed down to Lynn, then she has no other choice but to obey her country. What she needs to do from now on is train with the knights in order to improve her fighting skills. Once she is ready, she will need to go and fight the monsters that are causing trouble to everyone around the world. Lynn argues that she is just a normal person, but the bishop says that a hero's role is absolute. Now that Lynn has been selected by the will of the gods, she is no longer a normal girl and will work towards her main goal, which is that of salvation. Rizz asks the bishop if he can give Lynn some time to think, so he ponders for a bit and then he says that he will get back to her tomorrow. Now, Rizz and Lynn walk back home, but our hero knows that it would be impossible to ask the church to revise their decision. At this rate, she will have to play the role of a hero, so Rizz tries to think of what he can do to help her. As the public sees Lynn on the streets, they call out to her as the hero who now wields Excalibur. It is said that the last knight to hold such a sword had come 100 years ago, so heroes do seem to be rare nowadays. Rizz tells Lynn not to worry because he will talk to her parents about this, but she stops him and asks if he can keep it a secret for now. He asks if she is sure about this, and she says yes because she does not want to worry her mom and dad. After all, she knows that she won't be able to refuse, so it would be better to keep it a secret as of now. Since Lynn always cares about the feelings of others, it makes Rizz feel even worse about this whole hero situation. He tells her that she should not be this way, but Lynn only says that there is no need to worry about her so much. This is exactly why he does not want her to be a hero, because she will probably risk her life all the time. She decides to go home first, so Rizz agrees to stay back for a bit, but he wonders what he can do to help out his childhood friend. It's nighttime now, and the night festival is in full effect. While the others are having a good time with each other, our hero takes a look at the hammer and thinks about how he can make use of it. He then enters Lynn's room and tells her that her mom has made dinner for them. Lynn acts happy upon hearing this, so she rushes out of the room and asks if there will be meat or even cookies for them to enjoy. Of course, Rizz can see right through her, so he taps her on the head and says that she does not need to force herself to smile. It's at this moment where Lynn drops the act and starts crying because of her anxiety. She doesn't know what she is supposed to do, and all she can think of are scary tasks like defeating dragons and saving the world, just like in the stories she's read. Rizz wants to console Lynn, so he gives her a hug, and this puts her at ease, even though she cries for a bit. After she lets it all out, Lynn says that she's feeling better now, and Rizz tells her that she does not need to do anything even if she becomes a hero. Of course, if such a thing was the case, then our hero would not be too worried about Lynn. She says that she only wanted to live a normal life as the daughter of an innkeeper, and Rizz nods in agreement. He says that he would have also tried to earn pocket money every now and then if he had become an adventurer. Lynn starts to smile out of her own free will now, as she jokes with Rizz about how she would keep scolding him whenever he'd come to her to get treated for his injuries. However, now that she has become a hero, she will need to train hard to be able to protect those who are in need. Rizz can't take this anymore, so he tells Lynn that he will not let her fight alone. She does not get what he means by this, so he explains that he will figure a way for him to be able to fight by her side. After all, when he had lost his parents, it was Lynn who had helped him out of a dark place. Now that she is in a tricky situation, it is his turn to be of help to her. Being a blacksmith may be the worst job in the world, but Rizz is going to change that. He promises Lynn that he will become stronger, and this is when he says that he will eventually take her job. Until then, he just asks Lynn to do her best as a hero, and she thanks him for making such a promise. Our hero is very pleased to hear this, and then Lynn even says that she keeps troubling him with her whining. Now, she wants to go dancing, but Rizz says that it's already late, so there's no need to do this. However, Lynn says that she does not know when she'll be able to see him again, so she really wants to have this dance with him. Our hero can't say no to such a pretty face, so he takes her hand and dances with her. Rizz can see Lynn smiling a lot, so he tells her not to laugh at his dancing in awkward fashion. Lynn simply says that she is recalling the time she used to practice dancing over here, so it just feels very nostalgic to her. Rizz asks her if anything has changed since then, but she says that he has remained the same with his dancing skills. He gets disheartened, so he asks if she was actually laughing at his moves earlier. Lynn maintains that this is not the case, and she says that she will do her best when it comes to fighting, even though she is not good at it. In the same way, she hopes for Rizz to also become better at dancing the next time they see each other. Rizz awkwardly says that he will improve his public dancing skills, but once again wonders what he can do as a blacksmith. It doesn't matter though, because he is going to do his best for Lynn, no matter what. The next day, Lynn leaves the town and joins the night squad, so that they can teach her how to use the sacred weapon Excalibur. Lynn's parents did accept the decision eventually, but they are still worried for their little girl. As far as our hero is concerned, he continues to work at the inn, even though it doesn't really make much money. We learn that Rizz has been doing a lot of research on his job as a blacksmith, but even after all his hard work, there is nothing new that he can find on it. Basically, it looks like the job of a blacksmith is just as rare as the job of a hero, but not for the same reasons. Keeping this in mind, Rizz wonders if he can even be of any help to Lynn. Now we see a clumsy girl named May, who drops some plates and goes to clean the mess with her hands. Rizz rushes to her and says that she should use a broom, otherwise she is going to hurt herself. She says sorry in cute fashion, and then we learn that she is a new part-time worker over here. She also happens to be a beast girl from the dog race and is trying to get used to the way of working over here. Our hero offers to clean up after May, but he still thinks about what he can do as a blacksmith. As he holds a broken plate piece, he is asked by a strange voice if he wants to destroy it again. Rizz is shocked to hear this, but then the voice repeats itself and says that if he destroys the plate, then he can make a new one again. Rizz wants to try something, so he summons his hammer and takes a look at the broken plate pieces. He taps them with the hammer, and then all the pieces rise up in front of him. These pieces get absorbed by the hammer, and Rizz is amazed to see how this has just happened. May thanks him for cleaning the mess, but he casually sneaks away and hears the voice again, which tells him that he can use the broken pieces of the plate to make a new one. He is then given an option to create a new plate, almost as if he is in a video game, so he selects this choice and moves ahead. Suddenly, an aura of energy forms around his hand in the form of a circle, and it turns into a proper plate, just like the voice had said. Aurelius can't believe this, and he thinks that he has used his sacred weapon properly for the first time. He wonders what level this is because blacksmiths can only create weapons, but then the voice tells him that he can gain new skills if he continues to make new items or defeat monsters. Basically, Aurelius can gain experience points and unlock new skills, but he still doesn't know where this voice is coming from. Since he has just created some plates, our hero decides to create some more of the same thing, and then he levels up. Now, there's some kind of writing all over the room, so he tries to figure what's going on. He soon gets an idea about his powers, so he rushes to one of the rooms in the inn which is supposed to have a broken bed. He asks Lynn's dad for the room number, which he gives, but doesn't get why Aurelius is acting so strange around him. Our hero knows exactly what he's doing, as he summons his holy hammer and lifts the bed with his new magical skills. The bed gets fixed, and he grows one more level, much to his surprise. This means that Aurelius can not only create weapons but a lot of other things as well. All he needs to do is level up, and the possibilities will be endless for him. He then tests out his strength and can see that even this has become much better than what it was before. Aurelius is glad because he did not know how to help Lynn earlier, but now that he knows his skills, all he needs to do is keep raising his levels and he will be able to keep her safe. Now, he holds his hammer like a god and says that he is coming for Lynn. We move to the month of July and learn that it has been 2 months since Lynn has left Aurelius. We can see our hero training with May in a race, and the Beast Girl seems to have the upper hand, so she mocks his speed. It turns out that she is an adventurer, which makes her the perfect partner for training as well. Aurelius tells her that they still have a long way to go, so both of them keep running at their maximum pace. Our hero has spent the last 2 months training with May so that he can understand his own skills better. Now, the race is done with, and May laments that it's very hot while Aurelius uses his powers to create a water of bottle for her. The Beast Girl takes a sip of the water and says that it's nice and cold right from the start, so it's perfect. She says that Aurelius's skill is like an item box, so it's almost like a cheat skill. She's jealous of this, but our hero reminds her that he is not exactly like an item box. As a matter of fact, he can only use items that he has created or destroyed, so he has a limited range as of now. Even the water he had given her was at one point absorbed by his hammer, which was why he could create it out of thin air. The past 2 months were focused on developing this skill set, but it's not easy to identify the appraisal tool that had helped him in the first place. You basically need to find it on your own, the same way Aurelius had done when May had broken the plates. The Beast Girl is all praises for Aurelius, but that's just in her nature. Now, our hero notices that his level has gone up again, so May asks how far along he's come. Aurelius is at level 15, but he doesn't know if this is a good thing, especially with all the efforts he's been putting in each and every day. Turns out that no one else can see what level they are on, so it's something that's unique to Aurelius. This makes him realize something, so he brings out the hammer and smashes it on the ground, much to May's confusion. She asks him what he's trying to create, and it turns out that Aurelius has just made himself a brand new sword. The Beast Girl is amazed to see this, because such a thing was not possible from our hero earlier. This is his first time making an actual weapon, which is odd because that's what a blacksmith's actual job is supposed to be. Now, May takes a look at the sword and notices that it's a bit broken, so she tells Aurelius to check it out. He realizes that his weapon is indeed damaged, so he takes a closer look only to see that it's at rank F. This is shocking for him and May because now he can see the ranks of objects as well, probably due to his level rising. From the looks of it, the ranks of items go all the way from F right up until S. This means that all the things our hero has made so far also have ranks, so he decides to assess all of them. He notices that the newer items are of a lower rank and the oldest items he made, such as the bed and the plates, are rank A and rank S. Basically, the items he creates also grow in rank with his levels. Aurelius realizes that if he wants to make a high-rank sword, then he will need to increase his level even further. This puts a smile on his face, so May asks what that's all about. But our hero says it's nothing. He tells her that they should go back to the inn, so the beast girl does as she is told. Rizz has a lot more clarity now with his powers, so he comes back to the inn with high spirits. However, he notices that Lynn's mom and dad are feeling very low. May asks them what's the matter, so the dad says that he has been getting a lot of complaints regarding the bed in one of the rooms because it's very hard. This means that he will have to buy a new bed, which will be a problem because they don't have too much money to spare. The dad and mom are in a pinch and they don't know what to do. So our hero decides to step in and offer to make new bed for them. The dad can't understand what he means, and May is shocked that Rizz still hasn't told him about his powers. The beast girl explains that while Rizz is a blacksmith, he is still able to make other items, such as beds. The mom doesn't get it either, because blacksmiths can only make weapons as per her understanding. Rizz explains that he can make lots of other things, and he has made beds before as well. The dad wonders what he means by this, so he asks how much time this is going to take. Our hero says he will only need a minute, and this makes it even more unbelievable for the husband and wife. They are still in disbelief over the fact that Rizz can make anything he wants to instantly, so he decides to show them instead. He is taken to the room with the faulty bed and is asked once again if he can do this in an instant. Our hero just asks the husband and wife to watch him as he smashes down the bed with his hammer in front of their eyes. Naturally, they think that he is messing with them and being rebellious, so they ask him to tell them if he has a personal problem. Rizz simply asks them to calm down, and then he proceeds to show the real part of his magic. He absorbs the bed's pieces with his hammer, and then he creates a brand new one in front of their eyes. The mother and father want to know how he was able to do such a thing in just a second, so he says that it's all because of his skills as a blacksmith. The mom checks out the bed and says that it's very fluffy and of amazing quality, almost like a brand new bed. Rizz wants to see the rank of this bed and notices that it's an S-rank item, so he has finally mastered this art. The dad thanks Rizz for his efforts because he's just saved them from a massive cost. They even say that blacksmiths are as good as heroes, so Rizz says that he will go to the dining room and rebuild the furniture there. The mom and dad are overjoyed to hear this, so they tell him that he really is amazing. Even so, Rizz doesn't know if blacksmiths have any fighting skills, which means that he's still unsure of how he can help Lynn. Of course, he's glad that the inn is no longer in a pinch, so he is at least able to help out Lynn's parents to some extent with his powers. Now, we shift to the nighttime where a girl is seen heading out somewhere. She tells the maids of her palace to bring an umbrella, and then we learn that her name is Fyra. A boy shows up and asks her where she's going, but she says that she wants to go out for a walk as she is unable to sleep. We learn that Fyra has not been able to sleep for a while, so the boy laments her current state. He then says that he and his team need to work together in order to find Fyra the perfect bed that will give her proper sleep. We also learn that this is the family of the Duke of Guild Arts. Essentially, what they need is a skilled craftsman, so our hero would be the best solution for them. Now, we see a party where everyone is in high spirits, apart from Guild Art, who is also called Lord Cray. He is still worrying about Fyra, but then a girl named Era is told that he has come to a social party after a very long time, so she should ask him for a dance. Cray orders for a drink, and then he comments on how such high-profile parties are actually very dull. Now, a lord named Julian calls out to Cray and welcomes him to his family's party, as it's been a very long time since they last saw each other. He then asks Cray if he has seen Lynn around, as he has invited her due to her hero status. Cray asks Julian if Lynn is supposed to be the one this world has been looking for, but he says that a lot of heroes have been found this time, so the future of the world looks very bright. Julian then asks Cray about his father, but he says that the Duke is not feeling well, which is why he has sent him and his brother. Julian asks about Fyra as well because he seems to be interested in marrying her. He states that Fire is at that age where she needs a man to keep her safe, and he would be the best option as he holds a strong position, power, and honor too. Of course, Cray has no interest in this because Fire is still too young to be involved in such talks. As he walks away, he crosses Lynn, who is awkwardly trying to keep herself from stepping on her dress. Cray notices her and figures that she's supposed to be a hero. BTU also worries that she will have to deal with a lot of shady noblemen at her age. Now, a knight shows up to ask Cray where he is going, as he might be his guard. Cray says that he's just stepping out for some fresh air, and then he has a word with the knight if he has had any luck regarding the perfect bed. He has not found the bed as such, but he has heard about an inn that has been getting a lot of attention lately because of their beds and other furniture. The word is that a good night's rest at this inn can remove any kind of fatigue from a person. Cray is interested in this, so he asks for the name of the inn and learns that it is called the Migratory Bird, which is Lynn's parents' joint. Now we move to the inn where there is a lot of demand for food and coffee. Lynn's dad calls out to May for another order, but there are so many tasks to do at the same time that the Beast Girl is helpless. As May struggles to get her job done, Rizz comments that this place didn't have any business half a month ago, and now it's booming to another level. Now, we see some customers who are very happy with the beds and chairs of the inn, as they are softer and much more comfortable than what they found in any other famous inn. Lynn's mom turns to our hero and thanks him for making their inn so famous. And we learn that Rizz has basically made most of the furniture over here with his blacksmith skills. All of his creations are now rank A, and he is glad that he is able to pay back Lynn's family for having taken care of him. Now, with all the traffic at the inn, he can't really complain even if the customers get impatient due to shortage of staff. He finally does get a break when things calm down after some time, but he's totally worn out. Now, May comes to the scene and she looks very worried, so he asks her what's up. She says that Rizz has been called to the manager's office and Lynn's dad is making a very odd face. So something is wrong. Our hero wonders what it could be, so he goes to the office with May. On their way, he asks the Beast Girl if this is because of something she has done, so she starts to panic. May goes on a whole other kind of trip where she wonders if her very existence is a threat to humanity, but then Rizz calms her down by saying he was just joking with her. Now, he enters the office and finds Lynn's dad with a very serious look on his face. As a matter of fact, it looks as if he is going to explode, so even Rizz begins to worry about what has happened. He looks at Lynn's dad and asks him what's going on, but then his look changes from a serious frown to a soft smile. He then says that a noble man is going to spend a night at the inn, and it confuses both Rizz and May. The dad figures he may have come across too strong with his expression, but then May asks how such a thing has come about. He explains that it's due to their reputation rising like crazy over the past few days, and states that the nobleman coming to stay over is the fourth son of the Guild-Art family, which means it's none other than Cray. Now, we learn that the Guild-Art family is the ducal family from the city of Guild-Art, which is 2 days away from here by road. Cray's family is basically the highest amongst all the aristocrats, so they are a very big deal. Rizz is a bit confused because this is not a very renowned inn, but then Lynn's dad says that our hero will have to handle everything regarding the guests. Of course, he will get May as his assistant, and they will get paid extra cash as well, so Rizz is asked if he's up for the task. Our hero has no issues with this, and he asks May if she's fine as well, but the Beast Girl says yes with a nervous look on her face. With that, they are both dismissed, but Rizz notices something off about May, so he wonders what it could be. Later, he asks the Beast Girl to lock up the cafe and also talks to her about the nobles. He wants to know if she is worried about the status of these nobles, and May responds with shock because he seems to have read her mind. He simply says that the look on her face and the movement of her tail were more than enough to tell him she was worried. As a matter of fact, May now tells Rizz that she is thinking of turning the request down. He is surprised to hear this, so he tries to comfort her by saying she'll be able to handle it. However, she says that she loves this place and her masters as well, so she does not wish to bring any shame upon them by being clumsy with the noble men. She takes it to the extreme as well by saying she might get beheaded. Rizz knows that she's just worrying over nothing, and he says that she will be just fine. May doesn't know how she'll be able to get through this task, but our hero tells her to recall the time she had first come to this inn. She was breaking plates and getting orders mixed up all the time, which actually embarrasses the beast girl, but then Rizz also says that she is able to handle these things well. It's a sign that she has gotten better at her job, and this gives May some hope. Rizz reminds her that Lynn's dad has put his faith in her, which is why he has chosen her for such a big task. More than anything else, Rizz will make sure that he will support her no matter what. He mentions that even he is making progress towards his own goal with little steps, so May needs to be more confident in herself. Now, we move to the night where we see the beast girl in high spirits. She thanks Rizz for helping her out with her confidence, but he says that he was just doing his job. May still says that he is a good guy because he has made her happy. Now that the beast girl is happy and cheerful, Rizz spends some time with her outside and then he heads back to the inn. Since he has been able to motivate May, even he needs to do his best, so he enters the room which will be assigned to Cray. He knows that an A-rank table will not be good enough for a noble, so he summons his godly hammer and proceeds to create S-rank furniture with his blacksmith skills. Later, Lynn's dad asks Rizz if he's done checking out room 201, and our hero says that it's good to go. He then tells us that since the noblemen will be arriving today, he has rebuilt the furniture of the inn to BS rank. Lynn's dad is shown to be very nervous, and since Rizz considers him to be his father as well, he tells him that all will be well. The most nervous person in the room is still May, so Rizz tells her that if there's a problem with anything, then he will handle it. The beast girl is cheered up, and now the time has finally come for Cray to arrive. A massive carriage shows up, and then Cray steps out of it with a lot of swag, so his dignity can easily be spotted. Now, the Lord makes an introduction and Rizz greets him properly to welcome him to the inn. Cray tells our hero not to be so formal with him as he is only the fourth son of his ducal family. He then jokes about not having any authority and being forced to become a knight by his parents. Cray even offers his hand to Rizz, and our hero believes that he's not the kind of nobleman he had thought he would be. Of course, he still needs to keep his job in mind, so he does shake his hand but remains vigilant. The respect of the inn is at stake, but then Cray gets drunk with some beers and makes fun of Rizz for being a blacksmith. Of course, this is all in good humor, but Rizz still wonders what kind of man the fourth son is. Cray is told that all the furniture here is made by Rizz, but he finds it hard to believe. After all, blacksmiths are only known to make weapons, but Cray eventually tells our hero that he's a skilled boy for being able to make all of these things. Rizz comes to the conclusion that Cray is indeed a good man, and not like the other nobles of the country. The Duke boy says that he never expected the hero Lynn to have been born in such a place, but her name catches the attention of Rizz. He wants to know if Cray has met her, but he says that he has only seen her once at a party. He also comments that Lynn is doing very well as a hero, which Rizz wants to know more about. He says that heroes are always the targets of rich men and nobles because they would always want to be close to such jobs. However, she was able to maintain herself and avoid any kind of hostility due to her behavior. Cray was impressed by this, which was why he was watching her from a distance. Our hero wants to know if she's doing a good job, but Cray can't give a proper word on that even though he thinks that Lynn is a nice person. On the other hand, he himself just messes around and creates a ruckus. This has led to him getting kicked out of his own home in the middle of the night, which is why he doesn't want anyone else to experience the same thing. The fourth son then tells Rizz to get along with him well, because he will need a job if he actually gets kicked out of the royal palace. Our hero laughs along with Cray for now, but also maintains that he will be very strict with him if such a thing were to happen. Now that he's done with his food and drinks, Cray says that it's time for him to go to his room, so he tells his knights that they can leave now. He then looks at Rizz and tells him to take him to his bed. He seems to be looking forward to it, almost as if he has some intrusive thoughts going on in his head. One of the knights tells Rizz to be careful because the guild art family is very picky about their beds. It's as if the family has it in their blood. So our hero is definitely going to be tested now. As a matter of fact, this one time, Lord Cray was not happy with his bed and ended up executing a worker for it. In the past, he has also been known to start a war simply over a bed, so Rizz is dealing with a crazy man. He asks the knight is being serious, but he just walks away without saying anything. Our hero is in a spot now, and even May worries for him because even though he may be a master at making furniture, there is no guarantee that his S-rank bed would be enough to satisfy Crazy Cray. Now, the fourth son enters his room and Rizz shows him around, but he doesn't look too impressed by what he sees. He asks if our hero has made all the furniture over here, and he says yes, but even then, everything looks way too simple for him. More than anything else, all of the items in this room look the same. However, even Rizz knows that it's all about rank, and a noble like Cray will be able to tell the differences after using the bed. The crazy noble then aggressively says that he's going to bed. So Rizz awkwardly says okay, and then Cray jumps into the bed. He gets cozy inside while the others watch him with complete and utter confusion. After all, neither Rizz nor May have any idea of what to do in such a situation, so they watch on for now while making sure they don't offend him. However, Crazy Cray says that he won't be able to sleep if they keep watching him like this, so they decide to leave him be. As everyone exits the room, the knights thank Rizz for all his hard work, and he also wishes them a pleasant stay at the inn. The knights noticed that Cray was enjoying himself earlier, so things should not be as bad as they had imagined. They then tell our hero that they are thirsty, so they wonder if room service could be done for them. Rizz says yes and then hands over the job to May, who becomes nervous. Even though there is some nervousness, the beast girl is able to do her job well, so our hero can rest easy for now. He even feels that May not need his help again. But then the knights notice something odd. It's very quiet in Cray's room, so it could be that he's fallen asleep already. The knights find this hard to believe because it's only been 5 minutes, and Cray takes a lot longer than that. They all sneak into the room and peep at Cray to find him fast asleep and snoring in his bed. The knights are in shock because they have never seen such a thing ever before in their lives. Rizz asks them if this is really that much of a big deal, and they say that it takes a lot of time for Cray to fall asleep on a new pillow. As a matter of fact, the past few times when they had gone on missions, Cray could not sleep for days no matter whatever pillow was being given to him. It was quite a tough time not just for him but also the knights. It is because of this that the knights always carry a special pillow with them, but Rizz is not too affected by this. He is then given a pat on the back by the knights because there aren't many craftsmen who can make beds as good as this one. They even say that being a blacksmith is actually a good thing, and it's a huge relief for our hero. He was really worried at first, but now that the bed is to Cray's liking, he can breathe easy. Rizz realizes that his power as a blacksmith should not be taken lightly because he can indeed create quality items. Now, May pops up from behind and tells Rizz that he has done a good job, so they should work even harder now. Now that the formalities are done, the knights ask for their room and Rizz looks into it. His confidence has come back. But this is just the beginning for him because he has to become a hero if he is to catch up to Lynn. This is why he needs to keep going no matter what. It's morning now, and we can see that Cray is still fast asleep in bed. He is having a great rest, but then our hero shows up and knocks on the door to wake him up. The fourth son wakes up and charges to the door to fling it right open in front of Rizz. He really wants to know what kind of bed this is, because he had actually gone back to sleep 3 times on it. Rizz is just glad that he liked it, but Cray states that such a thing is not possible because he can't sleep so easily on a new pillow. He even goes as far as to say it is a demon bed that he was sleeping on. He then asks if his knights are awake, but our hero says that even they are still sleeping, so he will go and wake them up. We shift to the knights after they wake up and they can't believe how fluffy their beds were. As a matter of fact, they just want to take this bed back to the palace, because the rumors about this inn have turned out to be true. Rizz comments that these beds were actually rank A, but even then, if the knights love them, then he's happy with his work. Now, Cray says sorry for sleeping more than he had thought he would, as did his knights. Our hero tells him that it's all good because being woken up is also one of the services the inn provides. Now, Cray takes a look at May and his intrusive thoughts kick in because he finds her cute. He then asks Rizz if waking people is the Beast Girl's duty, so he says that she only does it sometimes. May is very nervous right now, and Cray notices this, so he tells our hero about it. However, Rizz says that he and his family are very proud of the inn and their employees, so Cray is pleased with his answer. He says that it is a good inn and the bed was truly amazing no matter how he looked at it. Of course, Rizz tries to act modest by saying he still has a long way to go, but Cray tells him not to be that way. After all, his own family has fought wars over beds, so he knows quality when he sees it. He reveals that he's actually very fussy when it comes to sleeping, which means that the knights were actually telling the truth early. Cray continues to be playful as he pats our hero on the back and tells him to accept his praise as he is admitting it. Rizz feels that half of this is just lip service, but it's still nice to hear such things. As a matter of fact, Cray's way of speaking reminds him of his own parents who used to be adventurers. Even they were able to make people smile all the time, so Rizz had longed for such a bond since their demise. Of course, he can't be an adventurer, but at least he is also able to bring smiles to the faces of others. At the end of it all, he is glad to have been given the job of a blacksmith. But then Cray says that it's time to get down to business. He doesn't know what this means, especially because the fourth son now has a serious look on his face. Cray finally reveals that he has a sweet little sister who is around the same age as Rizz. He has a smile on his face as he says this, and it makes our hero realize that she must be very precious to him. Of course, this is Fyra he is talking about, but Cray also states that she is a very selfish girl, unlike Rizz, who is neither selfish nor a girl. The fourth son wants to be blunt with our hero, so he asks him for his help as a blacksmith in order to help Fyra with her issues. It has to do with the bed that is unable to help her sleep, but Rizz still does not know about this, so he is a bit puzzled. Now, we move to the kingdom of Valtis, which is the royal capital. As can be seen, there are knights who are working out and practicing their battle moves at the training school. All of the boys pause when they see Lynn coming inside, and they greet her because of her status as a hero. The boys tell Lynn that Kiri is waiting for her, so she is asked to move towards him. Some of the students are in awe of Lynn being the hero, and they don't know why she's here to train, but either way, they are looking forward to learning something new. Of course, she does not like to be the center of attention, but there's nothing that she can do about it. It's been 3 months since she has started training with the knights, and while she has become better at fighting, she is still not an expert yet. She has also taken part in monster missions, but for the most part, she has just watched the other knights take down these beasts. She wonders when she will be able to go back home to meet Rizz and her parents, but she can only work as hard as she can right now. Now, we meet Kiri, who is also a girl, and she tells Lynn that she needs to take care of her timing better. Kiri is known as the Hidden Blade, which means she has a strong hero job. She is also Lynn's sensei, so she asks her if she got enough rest. Lynn also tells us that Kiri is one of only 7 knights in the kingdom that have a nickname, which is why she is her blade sensei. Kiri says that it's time to begin today's lesson, so Lynn gets ready for action. The hero girl charges at Kiri, but the sensei dodges her with ease. Lynn doesn't want to give her an opening, so she tries one more attack, but even this one fails against Kiri. Anyway, the sensei and her student go at each other in full flow, and Lynn is actually able to keep up with her. The other students are amazed because even though Lynn is a newbie, she is already able to hold her ground against Kiri. It just goes on to show what the hero job is actually capable of, and then the battle ends in a draw. Both the girls are tired from this workout, and Lynn thanks Kiri for teaching her how to fight. With that, the morning session is over, and Kiri tells everyone to come back for the afternoon session. Everyone is in unison when they say yes, but Lynn laments the fact that she is being made to follow a routine that only nobles and knights are used to. This is what comes with the title of hero, so she just has to play along with it. Now, Lynn is told by Kiri that she has received a letter from the migratory bird inn. She is naturally happy to hear this, so her sensei offers to send her food to her room so that she can read the letter in peace. The hero girl rushes back to her room and tears open the letter to see that it's from her mom, dad, and also Rizz. The letter says that the inn has become very busy ever since she has left, and with May settling in, things have become easier to manage. Lynn is happy to hear this, but it also affects her to know that the inn is doing so well without her being there. There's also a note from Rizz which says that he is looking forward to seeing her come back because he will only be able to rest when she returns. Lynn knows this is exactly what our hero would say, and she has a smile on her face as someone enters her room with her food. As Lynn eats her meal, she learns about May, who has taken over her job at the inn. Rizz mentions that he has been training with May for a while now, and it helps that she is an adventurer. At first, Lynn is happy to learn that Rizz is doing his best to increase his powers, but then she also realizes that May is the name of a girl, and not a boy. This enrages Lynn because she does not want Rizz to have any intrusive thoughts that don't involve her, even though she is his stepsister. What's even worse is that Lynn knows how Rizz is when it comes to opening up his heart to anyone and everyone. If things are to continue this way, then it won't be long before he and May become boyfriend and girlfriend. Lynn doesn't know what she is going to do if she comes back to her crush already becoming lovers with the beast girl. Of course, she can only hope for such a thing not to happen, and then she continues to read about how our hero has improved his blacksmith powers. Rizz mentions that all his training is for her to live a normal life, and this brings tears to her eyes. However, there's more for him to say, and it's to do with Cray coming over to stay at the inn. Lynn is shocked to learn that the fourth son of the Guildart family wants Rizz to help him with his sister, and our hero also mentions that he has been invited to the Guild Art Palace. This means that he will write to her again once he reaches the place. Lynn is taken aback by what she has just read, and then we shift to Cray, who passionately asks our hero if he is ready for this new adventure. Rizz is all set and good to go, so he hops into the carriage with Cray and sets out on his new mission. How is our hero going to develop his skills to help Fyra's bed issues? And will he finally meet Lynn after all this time? Like, share, and subscribe if you liked this video. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload part 2. See you soon.